have no friends, no relationship, of course. But the most important thing for a student doesn't have was brain cells. Yes, I don't have any brain cells at the time. However, one day, as the teacher took us to the library and we read some books, I sat down over that chair, I read some books, but after 10 seconds, because I'm a poor reader, so I stood up from that chair and wandered around the library, as if I'm traveling around the world. And suddenly, I approached a book called The Atomic Habits. And I didn't really know why, but my eyes widened, and I can hear my heart pounding so hard, and I can feel my blood flowing through my veins. And my fingers trembled as I pulled that book off the shelf. And I opened it, read it, and everything kind of changed. So what I want to show you from that book was how important it is to read a book and how a book can really change your life. I've summarized that book into 3 parts, which is plan. Plan the night before. Second is to implement. Implement your daily routine into your day and add some habits into it. And third is to reach. Reach your goal through planning and implementing. So recently, because my heart kind of aches of the TED event upcoming, so I took an X-ray in the hospital. So I would like you to see the heart, my heart, and maybe you guys are not medical professions, but just check out, okay? So, this is my heart. See, simple and stupid. So we can use the what if situation to see what will happen to my heart. So let's see, what if we struck some plan into my heart? Now it'll be a little scary. Why? Because planning is kind of scary. You're planning, so you're like predicting what will happen to your future. And as you finish planning what will happen in your future, you begin to prepare. As a scout, I constantly prepare for tomorrow because I think that's the most essential thing in people's life. So what if we struck some habit, such as meditation, exercising, reading, and studying into our day, into my heart? So now I'd be scared. Why would I be scared? Because habits are kind of small change. Small change result in small results. And big change result in big results. But that's the most important thing, because when you change a little day by day, you'll feel a little pain. And those pain will progress you into a better you. So this is how my heart looks like now. Or maybe not now, but I'm progressing, right? Because I'm bettering myself. The true change only comes from deep down from your heart, because nobody can ever tell you what to do or what to say. Just like your mom can't tell you to write your homework because you're playing video games too much. So you can't control yourself unless you really want it to change. And now my heart kind of looks like now. And just like mentioned before, those little men there are symbolizing as a pain. When you feel a little pain each day, by the time you reach some age, maybe 10 years or 20 years from now, you'll become much more successful. And this is a graph of how important habit is, which is the same habit result in the same result and same mindset. However, if you have new habits, then you will implement new results and growth mindset. And as a 16 years old teenager, I cannot tell you any life lessons. But however, I can prove to you how habit really changed my life. So started from a C student, now I'm an A student. So by putting 4 years of effort and the benefit of habits, I constantly change my grades. Also, in the beginning, I had 0 extracurricular activity, but now I have 13 plus extracurricular activity because I know how to plan my day and to schedule my time. And thank you for listening.
Right. Hi, my name is Amber Chung, and really quickly, I like to point out how important it is for you as an individual to find who you are and be who you are. I didn't understand this concept when I was growing up. So in my childhood and throughout my early teenage years, I was a definition by other people's judgments. I was everything and nothing. I was no one. And some of those judgments were not the best. Some of them were sexist, saying that as a girl, I wouldn't do well with the math and science. So I didn't discover my passion for engineering until last year, some 6 years later after this incident. And I think back that if I had a chance to be myself back then, I wouldn't have to waste all this time and be someone who I'm not. All this time I could have learned different aspects of engineering. I could have understand aerodynamics of a car, such as why the front wing has to be a bit bended so the air can swirl through, and through a way that does not affect how the car moves, and put a balance between the front rear and the back rear, the two axes, so that the car can move stably and with more grip. So with this lesson finally learned, I was determined to find more about myself. I don't know who I am completely yet. So I sat down one day and I just watched myself go on YouTube and watch documentaries on Caesarean Rome for 10 hours straight. It was a crazy experience, but I love it because I finally found who I am. So the moral of the story is that if you don't know who you are, please keep searching. You are the only person on earth that can define who you are. Do not let others define who you are, because those are hallucinations. You are you. Please be yourself. Thank you.
So when I was a kid, I usually have this game with my twin sister called photo taking. We use our eyes as cameras and take whatever moment we see to a small imagery in our mind. We usually compare them with a fake image quality. And we were naive, and even though there's no ways to tell, we still argue with each other just like we do right now. As time flies by, most of us are distracted by homework or video games and even social media. And we begin to forget the pure essence of an object, individual, or a moment. Furthermore, most of us are sanctioned by social standards, and therefore we lost the capability of innovation. So we were always told to have an adaptive mindset through educational system, but current society circumstances, it is hard for anyone to actually develop a full adaptive mindset. But this scenario changes when 1 year ago, my father brought my first camera back from China. To me, photography, it is an art. And an English poet named Oscar Wilde did once comment on art. Those who go beneath do so at their peril, and those who read the symbols do so at their peril. It is not a spectator, but life. Wait, I messed this up.
Keep going.
Okay. It is a spectator and not life that art really reflects. So photography, it's not only about the lessons you learn, but also a way of seeking yourself. And I would like to introduce lessons I have learned from photography. The first one is the training inner peace. So when we're doing photography, we have to take maybe long exposures or just waiting for one moment until we put that shutter into place. It trains how you perceive the world by waiting there. You have to understand your surroundings. You have to be patient until you have that opportunity to take that perfect shot. And sometimes when you're waiting for that moment, you understand how things appeal to you. For example, maybe I'm doing a street photography and I'm trying to get a woman passing on the sidewalk, but sometimes maybe the reflection on a certain window could caught my attention, and maybe it feels appealing because it has a certain story behind it. And that brings to the last one, which is understanding yourself better. Sometimes when we're doing photography, we ask ourselves, why does this photo are appealing to us, and why are we so attracted to it? I think it is something we have to discover more. It is not a non-stop journey in our life, just like we're doing when we're having school or we're just having vacation. We constantly ask ourselves, why are we doing this? Why are we even thinking about it? So overall, photography is not just about pressing the shutter button, but it is more about how you perceive the role and perceive yourself from the inner. So if people are asking me how am I supposed to start learning photography, or if there is anything I could do to have a better understanding myself, I like to give a quote from Charles Baudelaire, who stated an opinion on life itself, which is to understand the speech of flowers and of silent things, which means you have to understand each moment, even though it's negative or it's a positive, and try to perceive a lesson from it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Nicole, and today we will be discussing the secrets of adolescence. First of all, I would like everybody to think about the word adolescence. When you heard the word, you probably think of something emotional, something rebellious, basically something negative. And I, as a teenager, I also encountered that kind of problems. Me, personally, whenever I rebut to my parents, they would be like, oh, just ignore her, she's in her adolescence. And I always feel offended when they say that, because I want to protest my opinion, but they do not want to listen to me, only because I'm in my adolescence. And teenagers, we have the traits of that we always say what we believe we should say, and we do whatever we think is right. We protest our arguments a lot, however, without some actual evidence. The evidence we use are actually the evidence from our own opinions. And this trait often causes people to not listen to you. So one way of solving this is using critical thinking. Critical thinking can be defined as the process of thinking in order to come up with an argument. And these arguments have really valid evidence. If teenagers can successfully develop critical thinking, we can come up with valid arguments with plenty of evidence. Also, another problem of adolescence is that teenagers, we always do whatever we think is right. Speaking of this, people would think about the word rebellious or some stereotypes such as teenagers, we do whatever we want to do. For example, fighting against our parents or adults. However, this action does not only happen against adults. And what I'm gonna say might be able to change what you think. So, the French Revolution. It is known for the peasants in France fighting against the royalties. But not many people know that actually before that, it was the teenagers that started fighting against the royalties. Their action motivated the peasants who are actually skilled to also fight for them. Another thing about this is the 50s in Taiwan. If you are familiar with the Taiwanese history, there was a time when people were highly restricted. They cannot go anywhere at night. And teenagers were the one that started fighting for Taiwan. They went against the government no matter how they tried to stop them. So As teenagers, we have a lot of traits that adults or other people do not have. We always do whatever we think we should do, and we have a lot of arguments that are actually persuasive if they are more valid. If we can successfully provide more arguments with evidence, then me as a teenager, I believe that we can one day be able to change the world.